Lease versus buy. Should we lease or should we buy the asset outright? There are two aspects to this decision. Let us see these one by one. In the first aspect is the investment decision, where we would like to evaluate whether it is financially beneficial for us to acquire an asset. For this part, we will focus specifically on the operational benefits or operating benefits of acquiring an asset. We'll just focus on the benefits, the cost savings or the inflows that the asset will bring to us. Does the asset give operational benefits? This is the first question you need to ask. Then what we will do, we will discount these future expected cash inflows at the average cost of capital. Discount the cash inflows from this asset using a rate which reflects the operating risk of the investment, that is the average cost of capital, weighted average cost of capital. So for the first part, investment decision side, we will focus only on the operating cash flows and we will discount these operating cash flows with the weighted average cost of capital. Let us just focus on this aspect first on computational side, then we will see the other part here, this one. This will be discussed later. Let's see this leg of the decision first. Baldor Incorporated is considering the acquisition of a new machine either through an operating lease or by purchasing the asset. The asset will cost $200,000 on January 1st, year 1 and will have scrap value of $25,000 at the end of year 2. Operating inflows are $150,000 for 2 years. These are operating inflows. He could have said that these are the cash savings. The first part only, the first leg of the decision, is determine the operating benefit or the operational benefit of this project. So just focus on this part only. We are going to do the remaining part later. So let us just focus on this part only. Now we have $150,000 operating cash inflow. First of all, you will have to convert these operating cash inflows into post-tax basis by just multiplying it with 1 minus tax rate, which I believe is given as 30%. The tax rate is 30%. So 150 into 1 minus tax rate, that should give you 105,000. Now this 105,000, which is the net cash flow after taxes, it must not be discounted. There are two such payments or two such amounts at the end of year 1 and 2. So multiplying 105,000 with what rate? There are two rates given. Bank loan at 10%, whereas company's weighted average cost of capital is 9%. We have just discussed that operational benefit must be discounted at the weighted average cost of capital. So just multiply it with the annuity factor of 9%, that's 1.79, 1.759. That will give you 184,695. So this basically is your present value of annual after-tax cash inflow, or in other words, the operational benefit of this project. This is the first part. Now let us move on to the second one. The second part is now the financing decision. Now there are two further iteration to this. Either we could borrow the money from the bank, borrow the money, and then use this money to purchase the asset. Borrow and buy. And in the second part, we can just use a leasing arrangement, like whether finance or operating lease, depending upon the criteria met. Okay, so borrow and then buy the asset, or use the leasing arrangement. So which of these is cheaper? Is it cheaper to buy or is it cheaper to lease? We will see these two separately. So what we will do in financing decision leg of this two decision model, focus on the relative benefit of tax allowable depreciation from buying versus the tax saving from the lease payments. Two things must be seen separately. If we borrow the money, buy the asset, we will get definitely the definite tax shield benefit. And if we get it on lease, then there will be tax saving on lease as well. So we'll compare these, and then those cash flows must now be discounted at after tax cost of debt. This is a very crucial point to be noted. Since it's the financing decision, then you have to discount the cash flows on cost of debt, after tax cost of debt. Remember, and then we will decide whether should we go for borrowing and then buying, or should we go for leasing, and then we'll compare it with the benefits. So there are some important points here to be noted. When you borrow the money and purchase the asset with the borrowed funds, what you should do, you should take the purchase cost, the relevant cash flows, or calculate the present value of the lease payments, tax savings from depreciation in case if you purchase the asset, and the scrap proceeds also to be taken in this part. So buy through the borrowed funds will involve purchase cost, will involve tax from depreciation tax shield, and will involve scrap proceeds. If you go for leasing arrangement, in that case you have to make lease payments and you will get some tax savings on lease payments. So these two things now you will have to compare: borrow funds and purchase the asset, or lease it. Let us see the second two parts now. Now the remaining two parts said determine how the project should be financed. Should we borrow and then buy the asset, or should we go for the leasing and then we finally make the decision? So let us do the second part now. In the second part we are going to calculate first if we borrow the funds and then buy the asset. That's the first part to it. And in the second part we will simply treat it as a lease payment, like rental payment, and then we will calculate its present value. So in first case we borrow the funds and we use the borrowed funds to purchase this asset. Since it's a 2-year project, year 0, 1 and 2, let us write down the relevant cash flows. When you borrow the funds and use that to acquire the asset, so basically it's the initial investment at year 0 of $200,000. Where did I get this amount from? The asset will cost $200,000, right? Let us read the remaining part also to fill in the blanks. The machinery is fully depreciated on a straight line basis over 2 years for both book and tax purposes. Borrower's financing options for the asset are 10% on bank loan, which must be taken on after tax basis, because all these cash flows are after tax based. So we have to bring in these discounted also on after tax basis. Just multiply it with 1 minus 30%. It will give you 0.70 times 10. So you will use 7% rate, which are already given to you. Okay, so first you will have the initial outflow at year 0 when you acquire the asset. This is what you can write as the initial outflow, purchase. It says that the asset would be acquired at $200,000, which is the initial outflow, and it will have a $25,000 scrap value, which means if we calculate the depreciation, remember for NPV computation I told you take the acquisition cost price divided with the estimated life. What you get is the depreciation. Now this depreciation will then be multiplied with 30% to give you what you call the depreciation tax shield. So depreciation tax shield is going to be 30,000 for year 1 and 30,000 for year 2. Now this asset will be disposed at the end of year 2 at 25,000. At that time the whole of this would be gain, and since there is a gain on it, we have to pay tax on gain. So take 30% of 25,000 and deduct it from 25,000, or else simply multiply 25,000, the amount you receive, and just calculate the after tax amount. This will automatically deduct the tax on gain. So it's going to be 25,000 times 70%. I hope you got the idea. 25,000 is the amount you receive, but there is a tax 30% on gain. So you simply multiply 25,000 with 1 minus tax rate. This will simply give you the amount you collect after tax, which is going to be 17,500. Okay, now these are the cash flows related to the borrowing funds and then purchasing the assets. So it's going to be $200,000 negative, $30,000 positive, and $47,000 positive. Since you have to discount these cash flows to year 0, so for this the discount factor is going to be 1.00. For this is going to be 0.935, first year discount factor, and for the last one it's going to be 0.873. If you multiply these and add up the results, it will give you a total figure of negative 130,483. This is the present value of outflows in case if you borrow the funds and then use it to acquire the asset. We have separated the operational benefit separately in the first parts. Keep it separate. I haven't taken any inflow from operational benefit. I've just taken the debt and tax shield, the disposal value, and the initial outflow. So 130,483. In the third part, if it is operating lease, didn't meet any of the 5 criteria. So in this part, what we are going to do, these lease rentals of 92,500 with lease payments due on January 1st each year. So this means this is the amount that is paid at the start of each year. So remember, this is not the payment at the end of year 1, rather it is the payment at the start of year 1. The next payment will be at the start of year 2. So if you need to discount these cash flows, you will not use the ordinary annuity, you will use the annuity due, and not at 9%, at 7%, because since we are on the financing side, So we need to take the after-tax cost of debt, 7%. So it's going to be 92,500. You need to take this number on after-tax basis. Lease rental is a tax allowable deduction. So 1 minus 30% will give you 64,750. 64,750. This 64,750 now must be multiplied with the annuity due at 7%. Why? Because the first payment is made at the start of year 1, second payment at the start of year 2. So it is not the ordinary annuity. Ordinary annuity involves payments, cash flows at the end of the period. So multiplying this with the 1.935 gets you a negative of 125,291. Now we have some numbers to discuss. Operational benefit of the project NPV is 184,695. Okay. Then if you borrow the funds and acquire the asset, in that case the present value of outflow is 134,83. Or if you go for the lease rental arrangements, in that case it's 125,291. Finally, we have to now determine the NPV of the investment. What you will do now, you will take the benefit 184,695 and take the lower of these. We of course not are going to use this because borrowing and then acquiring asset is costlier, 130. You will go for the one that has the lower present value of payment. Remember, present value of inflow should be as high as possible, whereas the present value of outflow should be as low as possible. So in this case, take the lower one and deduct this from the present value of benefits. What you will get is the amount 59,404. This is the net present value of the investment, and that tells us that yes, you should go for it. You should go for operating lease. That's the final conclusion. Normally, you won't find a question like this in your MCQs, not even the previous version of Becker, not in this one. So that's why we just spent some time on this question here, because you won't find it anywhere in the questions. So that's the conclusion now we have come up to. If the PV of the cost of best source, which we identified as, because there were two sources, either we could have borrowed the funds and acquired the asset. In that case, the outflow, the present value of outflow was 130, if I remember correctly, 483. Right? This is borrowed and acquired the asset. Or in the second case, we would have gone to the lease rental arrangements. In that case, the present value of outflow negative was 125,291. So if the PV of the cost of best source, this one, is less than the present value of operating cash flows, which was substantially bigger than this number 184,695. So in that case, the project should be undertaken, and that's exactly the conclusion we have just drawn. The present value of operational benefit is 184,695, and out of these two options, this one is cheaper, and this is more than the cheapest option. Then you should go for it. Go for this project and acquire the asset using the lease rental arrangements.